in the spring of 2005, behind the closed doors of a modest apartment in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, a family of 6 descended into madness. They believed they were chosen. They thought they were guided by gods and haunted by demons. What started as a daughter's divine vision spiraled into weeks of exorcisms, torment, and ritual abuse, all in the name of salvation. By the end, one woman was dead, the rest were deluded, and the nation was left asking, how could this happen? And what really possessed the Wu family? Was it spirits? Was it faith? Or was it something far more human and far more terrifying? This is not fiction. This is the true story behind the Wu family possession case, the tragedy that inspired the horror film Incantation. This is Uplay with Nate and Josh. Let's begin. You're back on Uplay with Nate and Josh. What's going on, everybody? Let's bring some more enthusiasm and more fire into into the bellies, especially with an intro like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. Now, when we before we start, these kind of incidents or cases don't really happen. It happens very rarely.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it doesn't even, like, these kind of things don't even happen. Like, you don't get to.
The problem is they might happen, but they're not documented. They're not put forward to the public.
Yeah. I mean, the case that we're going to talk about today, Josh, it's so disturbing, and it's so sickening that that it makes you wonder, like, what would have gone wrong with the Wu family.
I wore my brown pants.
Yeah. In case,
I'm ready to shit myself.
So before we start as well, I just want to, just a disclaimer that we will be covering topics about SA and self-harm, and ritualistic harm, basically. So if anyone is sensitive to these topics, this one's not for you. Okay. Now, to begin with, Josh, like, how my
go check out our Diddy case.
Go check out our Diddy case. Yeah. But yeah, it's talking about Diddy. He just on the sideline. You know what happened?
Nah.
He's found not guilty on a couple of charges. Out. Yeah. But there's some charges that he's found guilty.
He should be found guilty on all.
Yeah, but
whatever. Even 50's pissed. That's why I was like, what the fuck happened with Diddy? Because everyone was saying, 50 bad about Diddy's verdict. And I was like...
It was a bummer. Like, as soon as I woke up in the morning, I'm like, oh, what's the news? Like, what's going on? And then the first thing that pops up is Diddy gets, like a not guilty for like...
That's I think how you know you're an adult, right? Like, you wake up in the morning and the first thing on your mind is, I wonder what's happening globally.
Yeah. No, I think that's not just being an adult. I think I'm just turning into my dad.
Nah, bro.
Because I used to curse him, like, every time he'd watch the news. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
I still don't. Look, I'll be honest. I don't put the news on. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, all day, that's all I'm doing is reading either news or watching fucking horror
My
shit.
boss used to do it. I used to be like, you're a weird motherfucker for like just sitting there during your lunch break. And
I think because you're not 30 yet, Josh, like once you turn 30, I think that's what's going to happen.
Bro, 6 months. I already got a grey chest hair.
Yeah. Oh.
I've hit that line now. My knees are starting to stop bending.
Crackle? Yeah.
Not even crackle, bro. They just turned into it's like Ang came and was just like, I took away your bending.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So anyway, talking about Diddy. So anyone who's obviously sensitive to topics like this, go check out a Diddy episode.
Yeah, it's less to do with topics about this and more to do with topics about Diddy.
Yeah.
Which is also topics about this.
Yeah. It's similar. Yeah. But anyway, look, to begin with, this is actually the reason why I said that this story is very sickening and it's very sad at the same time, but it's also very haunting. It's because the whole family kind of got involved in something that was either delusional or I want your take on this, right? I want you to tell me by the end of the discussion is what do you think, Josh, is do you think that this is psychological, or do you think that there was actual demonic possession that happened with this family? Okay. Now basically the story starts in Taiwan, okay, in Gushan district. And Josh pronounced it very well because I'm gonna fuck it up. It's a Kaohsiung city. Okay, so did you say Kaohsiung city? Yeah, that's better. So in the city there was
Taiwanese.
yeah, Taiwanese Chinese. So look, there was a middle class family. Okay, not well to do or anything of that sort, but a very basic living, a normal family from Taiwan. Okay, so the family members basically were the dad. So we'll call him just dad. Okay, there was the Wu mother, who is the mum, obviously. Now the dad was Wu mum. So the father was 65 years of age.
Oh goddamn!
And the mum was 56. And the eldest daughter, her name was Wu Fengguan, and she was 28. And like Josh mentioned in the intro, she was the one who actually died. Okay, throughout this whole ordeal. Now there was one younger daughter, and there's apparently two sons. One was disabled. Now the problem with this incident is that
unlocked yet.
He wasn't unlocked yet, so he was still in the closet. So the problem with this story, Josh, is that no matter how much I try to research, I've listened to multiple stories, right? I've read through so many websites that I wish that I thought that I could find some information, but nothing. There's no information on this. It's such limited information, and half of the information is in Chinese, which I don't speak, and I can't even translate. So I came across this, and shout out to Rotten Mango, the podcast, and she's lovely. I love her podcast and her YouTube video as well. So I came across this story on her podcast a few weeks or months ago, and then I came across another few people who took interest in this show. So I said, look, I mean, this seems intriguing, right? And when I went through the whole case,
right up the
Uplatewithnateandjosh with Nate Ali, yeah. And when I started researching this, Josh, I was like, man, this is something that we should talk about. Okay, and basically, like I said, there's not much evidence, or there's not much stories or reporting about this. So, and there are different versions, or like different versions of the story around.
There's different variations
of this, but overall the story is pretty much known in Taiwan as an urban legend too. So so we're going to talk about the Wu family. Anyway, these were the people who were up in the family. So the father, mother,
Wu dad,
Wu mum, eldest daughter, younger daughter, and a son. Okay, now the one thing with China or Taiwan, right, is that you will realize that a lot of these Asian countries are really, really in depth with folklore. Okay, and that's why we've been talking about urban legends and talking about like these very culturally rooted folklore, right? And especially in Taiwan, when I was doing my research, it shows that people in Taiwan and stuff like that, they're really religious. Like they take it really seriously. Even the folklore, even if it's mythology, right? But the thing is that most of the mythological stories that come up from Taiwan, half of them are also related to Indian gods, Indian deities, right?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. And so they were particularly a believer in this particular deity called Ni-za and Kuan Yin. So these are the two deities that the Wu family was very, very dedicated. That was basically their religious aspect and how they operated, right? Now some theories suggest that the family were like family painters. So they were like painters by profession. Okay,
like interior painters, or like I paint you a...
I think it was like painting, like your house paintings.
Okay,
like not hand paintings.
I paint you a flower.
Yeah, no, not the flower. Mostly houses.
I paint the brick.
Yeah, the brick houses. Yeah. So and render. Yeah. But
you doing the accent?
Yeah. Jeez, it just sounds Indian, bro. No matter what accent,
bro. It sounds so. It's brilliant.
Brilliant.
It's a good combination of the both.
Perfect. All my Chinese listeners, we love you. That was Indian mixed.
That was Nat. Asian Nat.
Yeah, that was
Chinese Nat.
Chinese Nat. Anyway, so now what happens, Josh, is the youngest daughter. Okay, now the family is just operating normal. They're going about their day. But But one fine day, this youngest daughter, she has a dream. And in the dream, she gets possessed by this deity called Nisa.
Oh shit.
Now, let me talk to you about this deity called Nisa. Now, Nisa, also known as the third lotus prince. Now, what this folklore is, it's basically a protective deity to the Chinese people, right? The story of Nisa is very crazy as well. So when Nisa was in his mother's womb, she wasn't able to deliver him in the 9 months. So he stayed in the stomach for 3 years to a point where the mother used to bash his stomach repeatedly because the child wasn't coming out. And when finally Nisa came out, he came out in just like a clump of flesh.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so the dad looked at it and said,
because he's overcooked.
He was overcooked in the oven. Yeah. So the dad basically said that this is not a baby. This is not human. This is basically...
This is a gelatinous blob from D&D 5e.
Yeah. So the father said, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, I mean, I think this is a demon.
You just piss out your placenta?
Yeah. Or the placenta's out. Where's the baby? Yeah. But so what happens is with
Sorry.
Look, no disrespect for the deities.
No disrespect to the deities or the Asian people. We love you. I just love your accents.
Of course, we are all Asians anyway.
I love accents anyway, so fuck you.
Yeah. But what happens is when this baby started growing up into and started taking the form of a human, right? Because his father said that he was a demon and stuff like that, he had to prove himself. He grew up to become the opposite of it.
Oh, right.
Just to prove his dad. And so he started becoming a protector to children and families. Basically, that's what Nisa's story is. And so what happens is when this girl got this dream and Nisa actually possessed her, she started, speaking in different voices, like in different kind of, started screaming in the night. And then she started giving oracles. And she started, warning the family about demonic attacks that's going to happen on the family.
Right.
So this is from a 6-year-old girl, the youngest daughter. But the one thing that she said was the starting point of what actually happened to the Wu family. Okay. She insisted that her elder sister, Wu Fengguan, okay, she was possessed by an evil spirit and she must come home for salvation. Now, why was she called home, or why was she wanting her home? Because the elder sister was not home. So these people used to live in Taiwan. She used to work, I think, in Taipei. Taipei, if I'm pronouncing it right. So Taipei and Taiwan are like 5 hours. There's a distance of 5 hours apart. So what happens is the mother straight away, now because the youngest daughter says, I'm possessed with Nisa, right, the third king, the mother takes it seriously and the father takes it seriously. And so the mother calls up the daughter and she says, look, Fengguan, you have to come back home. Because if you do not come back home, something really terrible is going to happen to you. And she begged her to come home. Okay. And it was not just the mother, everyone pressurized to come for her to come back home. Upon her return, so when she came, now there are two versions of the story. The one version of the story is that Fengguan was getting ready to come back home. Like obviously she called her in the morning, in the evening she was ready to come back home, and as soon as she opens the door she sees the mother there. Now in order for the mother to come from either Taipei or Taiwan to Taipei or to Taiwan, vice versa, it's gonna take a full day of planning. It's a 5-hour journey. It's a treacherous journey as well. And if you see Taiwan, it's like really beautiful. It's like hills and stuff. And, there is a city as well, Taiwan, but the journey was a pretty treacherous. Treacherous. So it would have taken time for her to plan this, but she was there, and the daughter Fengguan said, Mom, what are you doing here? But she said, look, I mean, she was worried. She's like, oh shit, my mom's here, which means there's something really, something's going on. Yeah, something serious. So anyway, so the mother was, what, come back home. And so she took her home. Now the second version of the story says that as soon as Fengguan heard the story, she believed her mother instantly, and she packed and left
Either way, she got back.
She got back home.
Yeah.
Now, when she got back home, she opened the door and she was greeted by the mother, father, the youngest sister, and the brother. And they were pretty happy. They were like joyous with big smiles and stuff.
Home.
Yeah, welcome back home. So she came back home. Yeah. And when she came back home, the dad had cooked a fantastic meal.
Attaboy.
Traditional Chinese, Taiwanese meal, right?
Meal.
So they
that would smell good too, boy.
Yeah. Have you had Taiwanese food? I've never. Is it like similar to Chinese? I don't know.
Probably. I don't know. I would assume so.
Okay. I'd love to try some.
Yeah.
But
to all our Taiwanese listeners, send us some.
So what happened is, now when they were greeting her and bringing her home, there was not much chatter about what's going on. But then, because there was a nice meal and spread put out on the table, when they sat for dinner, that's when the parents started talking to her about this. So the family started saying to her, now they suddenly started becoming very erratic while they were having dinner. So Feng Guan is like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are they suddenly, like, they were so happy and then suddenly they're like all erratic and what's going on? So they said that there is a demon that is behind you, or either the demon's already inside you, but you don't know. But since you come home, we're gonna take it out. So the whole family, the mom, the dad, the brother, they all believed that she was possessed. The eldest daughter, Feng Guan. Okay. Now begins the issue, the problem.
Right.
Okay. The family, what they did was, they took Feng Guan. In some stories, in some cases, or some reports, they say Feng Guan needs to go to this 5-finger mountain in Taiwan. Okay. Now another side story. What is the 5-finger mountain? So
it's a mountain with 5 fingers.
Fingers, exactly. Bingo.
Fucking
nailed it. Fucking smart.
Yeah, I know.
Smart.
I'm fucking clued in, bro. I got it. I'm on lock.
Shit.
What next?
So basically, the 5-finger mountain, the reason why they call it 5 fingers, because if you see the summit, it looks like there's like how you put your knuckles up and you do that? It looks like it's like that.
Hand.
Like a gorilla hand thing. So it looks like 5 knuckles on top of the thing.
Damn.
Yeah. And so this particular mountain has like their worship, like the Chinese, they've got their temples and stuff like that around. So what they did was, the family sent both the sisters, because apparently both were possessed, right?
Right.
One was with Nisa and
one was positive, one was negative.
So they sent them for about a few months or something, 2 weeks, to this particular 5-finger mountain. The problem is that just a side story. Have you heard of you definitely might have heard of about the suicide forest in Japan?
Yep.
So it is similar. So it's similar to a degree. So not that people commit suicide there, but the 5-finger mountain is known to have entities in the forest.
Right.
Spirits of the blessed, spirits of their deities, but also spirits of vengeful spirits.
Yep.
That are waiting for people to come and take revenge. Latch on or take revenge. Anyway, so the fathers thought it was a good idea to send both the sisters there, let them meditate for 6 months or whatever, and then come back.
Walk through this haunted fucking forest and BT dubs don't get possessed.
Yeah. Yep. And so he sends the daughters there. Now when the daughters come back, the youngest daughter still starts to do the same thing. Starts speaking in different dialects and starts talking in voices and stuff like that. But the problem is that as soon as Feng Guan, the elder sister, sleeps that night, she starts screaming and chanting this very weird incantation. Now, it's very weird, Josh, right? The youngest daughter first starts getting possessed. Now the eldest daughter starts acting the same way. Some part of the report also says that when Feng Guan actually initially came home for dinner, and when she actually sat and when they were talking to her, that very night she got possessed and she started screaming in her sleep. And she started doing all these weird things. And the reason why, the reason why I'm backtracking is because there are these different reports of the story.
Yep.
And that's why the reason why I'm backtracking is it gives us the premise of what was happening with this Wu family. So the reason why they sent her to the Five-Finger Mountain was not because the younger sister just saw her getting possessed or assumed that she was getting possessed. But some reports state that when the daughter initially, as soon as she stepped into her house, she got possessed. Right. After the dinner that night, and for that night or for a couple of days or something, she started getting sexually assaulted in her dreams by some entity. So she didn't know what was going on. Yep. And hence the father then decided. So that's the backstory of why the father sent them to the Five-Finger Mountain to get, meditate and take these demons out, hoping that these girls get better. They didn't take the youngest daughter as a demon because they thought that she was more possessed by a deity who was looking for protection or who was providing protection. However, they sent her there because they also thought that her soul has left her body and has not returned back to her.
Right.
And now the deity lives in her. So the youngest daughter, she is sent for that reason, for soul searching basically. And the eldest daughter is sent there to exercise. Lose a soul. Exactly.
Not her soul, but her soul.
Her soul, yeah. When they come back, for a few days it's okay, but then they suddenly start again, right? Now this is where the story of the Wu family starts getting really bizarre. Are you ready?
Been ready.
Been ready?
Been ready.
Been ready.
My nipples are hard.
Okay.
That's how kind of nervous I am.
Oh yeah, okay. Now the problem with the Wu family is, like I said, that they were really, in depth, involved with this issue that was happening with the youngest daughter and the oldest daughter. So they never went back to work. They locked themselves at home and they started doing these rituals in order to exorcise the eldest daughter. One night, some reports state that they suddenly woke up from their sleep in the middle of the night, and they both in unison started chanting and some incantations. So the dad, the brother, and the mother started exorcising the girls, especially the older daughter. They locked themselves for days without any external help. Some reports state that they also called a Buddhist monk, but the monk wouldn't even enter the house. He just left the house straight away and said that this is beyond my repair. That's what some reports state.
Damn.
They started beating Fengguan with brooms and sticks. They forced her to kneel for hours straight. Okay. They also started burning her with incense. Now, the reason why they do this
is to help the spirit out.
Yes, so the spirit won't feel uneasy and then they'll leave, right? But the worst part is, as the exorcism is happening, Josh, are you ready for this? As the exorcism is happening, as the family is helping 28-year-old Fengguan to get rid of the spirit, the father suddenly looks up to the family and says, I am Jade Emperor, which is another deity in the Chinese folklore. Right. So he suddenly gets possessed with this deity called Jade Emperor. And he starts exorcising this girl. I've got fucking goosebumps. But anyway.
Bro, I just got them.
Yeah. So the father looks at them and says, I am Jade Emperor. And then he starts exorcising her. While they're exorcising her, the mother suddenly looks up to the family and says, I am the Queen Mother. And she, along with the Jade Emperor, start to exorcise the eldest daughter. The problem is that the Queen Mother story, another side story. I said this is a topic that it is very convoluted. So it's important to know that Queen Mother is known as Jade Emperor's wife. But the beginning or the start of the origin story of this deity or this mythological deity is that she was a demon first, repented and turned into a good deity. So she was a demon converted to a deity. That's what they believe. Okay. So now, while they're doing this, while they're doing the exorcism, the son suddenly, who's the only one that is normal at the moment, right? He suddenly says that I am the acting master. Another folklore, another part of a Chinese mythology. So one after the other, while they're exercising this daughter, they start getting possessed with demons or deities themselves.
Right.
Now, you know how I said that they could be a disabled boy?
Yep.
It could either be, some reports state that it was a disabled brother or another sister.
Yep.
Okay, so there were 3 sisters in total. Or either one of them was a brother. So we don't know. I have no clue. I've tried my best to research. I couldn't find it.
Yep.
Anyway, so either the disabled boy or the second oldest sister says, I am the 7 fairies.
Right, you're telling me there's 7 people in one body?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And there is evidence of this in the Bible.
Oh.
That when Jesus goes to the tombstones, and he sees this possessed person, he says, I am Legion. Legion means multiple souls in one body. One after the other, the whole family gets possessed. But the problem is that when the dad and the mom, Jade Emperor, aka dad, Queen Mother, mom, Feng Wan is being tortured and fucking exercised, they come up with this theory that the demon is pretending to be a deity in one of us.
Right.
So it could be possible that it might not be the eldest daughter, but it could be within any one of us. But it's pretending to be a deity. But obviously the main suspicion was that it was the eldest daughter. Now this is where things get crazy. What happened in that house? What happened for over 2 months. They never went out to get food. They never went out to get help. They never went out anyway, Josh. Now neighbors reported that they heard screamings at some nights. Some neighbors reported they could hear just this gong with the Chinese bell all night, just periodically playing.
Yep.
Some people said that they could hear these deities and they could see these shadows in the house. And why I say shadows, I'll tell you why. But they saw some nights, they saw these shadows of these people just dancing inside the house. Some neighbors also reported that they heard loud sounds of chants coming through the house as well. Now there are certain reports, because this is a 3-story building that they lived in.
Yep.
And there are photos of this house surprisingly on Google.
I would hope so.
The actual case photos, right?
Yeah.
And the photos show that this house, this family they lived in the third. There's a 3-story building. They lived in like a middle, the 3rd floor. Yep. And anyway, there was a report of some of their family relatives used to actually stay on the ground floor. But because of what was going on with the top floor, they fucking bumped off.
Nah, fuck that.
Yeah, they left apparently with some reports that state that.
Would you leave? Because I fucking would.
I would be curious. I'd probably call the cops or someone.
Of course you would.
I'd probably call the cops or something.
This is my livelihood. I'd be like, you know what? I ain't paying rent for this motherfucker no more. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'd just step away. I'd be like, you know what? I take the clothes on my back. I'll burn the rest of the floor down. I'm gone skis. Just don't touch me.
No, but so that's what happened apparently, right? Now what happens is most of the reports of what was happening in the house comes from the neighbors and what they heard. All the 6 members. Now this began. So the girl got possessed. The youngest daughter got possessed by Nizha
like 2 months
in
ago?
February of 2005. Now in late March 2005, the 6 family members, they began to believe that they were all possessed completely. And they had no souls in them anymore. They were suspicious about a demon either living among them, pretending to be a deity. So they started stabbing each other with knives. They started banging heads on a makeshift, like a made up altar. They started performing mock executions on each other, believing that each other's pain was a sign of a demon leaving. So the pain was one of the signs that the demon is leaving them. On April 4th to the 8th of April, Feng Wan became severely malnourished and she was completely injured. her organs had begun to fail.
Yep.
But the family never called any doctor.
No, of course.
They believed that her suffering was a proof of the demon leaving her body. Her body, when discovered, and I'll come to that later, was covered in burn marks. There were open wounds and there were bruises. Now what happens is, forward to who reported this and how the story came about.
Yeah.
In the building, one of the neighbors heard the door knocking frantically. So he goes to, they have these peepholes, and so he looks, and the neighbor sees 65-year-old Mr. Wu standing there.
Yep.
And he quite can't get why he's there.
Yep.
And so he says, "Can you open the door?" And so he said, for the neighbor who's probably never, not much spoken to him, he says, "What's going on?" From the closed door. And he says, "Call an ambulance." So as soon as he says that, Josh, as soon as the neighbor opens the door, Mr. Wu is disappeared. A 65-year-old man disappeared so quick that the neighbor couldn't even comprehend where did he disappear to. Okay? When I'm telling these things to you, I want you to keep in mind these details. Okay?
Okay.
Now the neighbor goes running to Mr. Wu's apartment and he opens the door.
Yep.
Before opening the door, he actually knocks. No one answers. So he opens the door, Josh. Now, if I tell you that the story that I said, or the things that I've told you so far, is nothing compared to what the police found in the house, is nothing compared to the bizarreness that happened when the police entered. So the neighbor opened the latch, the door, and the door creaked open. And as soon as he went in, he could not take it anymore. A bunch of flies, or maybe one fly or something, as soon as he opened the door, this fly almost attacked him and went outside the door. He went in just a few steps, and further away on a makeshift altar or like a bed or something, he saw a dead body. But he couldn't stand in the room.
Yep.
And he started fucking gagging, like dry heaving outside the apartment. And at the chance he got to put himself together and he's like, okay, fuck, I gotta call the ambulance. So he calls the ambulance and he calls the police. And this is where the most horrifying thing, I think I've never come across such a horrifying thing ever. Anyway, when the ambulance came in, they walked into the house. Now, from the outside of the house, police were obviously trying to see what's going on in the house. So they're talking to neighbors. This is where the reports came in. But when they're looking at this apartment, Josh, they cannot see anything in the apartment, because the whole apartment windows are covered with this very pale yellow kind of sheets of paper.
Okay.
But also outside the house, in the balcony, they see these symbols of feng shui.
That's the balance of the universe.
Balance of the universe. So they have this the symbol of the feng shui thing outside there in the balcony.
Right.
Now the police enter along with the ambulance and the medical staff. As soon as they enter the house, Josh, it is dark. There's no source of light at all in the middle of the day. Just a very small shimmer of light from the daylight. As soon as they enter, they start feeling gritty on the floor.
Yep.
When one of the investigators looks down, he finds with his torch, he looks down and he finds salt and rice spread throughout the floor. There's like not even an inch of floor that was exposed. It's like covered in salt and rice. Now why? A lot of folklore and a lot of beliefs state that salt can repel demons. So what they're using that, sprinkling on each other. Now, as they went inside, there was a dining table with food served. And when they went towards this plate, it had this paper. You know how you put like French fries, for example. You put a paper underneath in the bowl. There was this ritualistic paper with like like some chants on it. And there was food served in the bowl. And there was food served around as well. But the problem is that, Josh, it was not food. It was human feces. Actual human feces.
Yeah.
And the whole bowl was full of it.
Yikes.
But that's not the only problem, Josh.
Of course not.
The problem is that there were glasses and there were jars of water. But when they looked at the water, there wasn't water. There was urine.
Yep.
It was piss.
Yep.
That's not it.
Oh, fuck.
The problem is, Josh, that the whole wall of their house, the internal walls of their house, was covered in layers of human feces. Now the problem is that because there is no sunlight coming through,
Yep.
there is no heat coming through, this human feces on the wall and on tables and everywhere around this dead body was just fucking marinating there for days, who knows, for weeks, we don't know.
Yep.
Because there was no sun there was no chance for this poop to dry as well.
Yep.
So there were these layers of poop that was just keeps falling off the walls of the house. You would wonder what went wrong in that house.
That's gross.
So what happened is, anyway, they went to the body. They fucking, some officers might have fucking dry gagged or fucking vomited and shit.
Fucking iron stomachs.
Iron stomachs. They went in. They took their body. They took the girl's body, and they took it for postmortem. As soon as they took it to the mortuary, the examiner, he came out with this particular statement, and he said that the girl has these burn marks on it. Now the burn marks are not like burn marks, Josh. It's like a very small circular burn marks on her.
Right.
Very
weird.
Yeah, very neatly formed burn marks. It was not like burnt like 3rd-degree burn on your whole arm or something.
Right. Okay.
And she was very badly malnourished.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
But the problem is that her nostrils, her throat, what is it, esophagus? The throat?
The esophagus.
Esophagus. And her internal organs were completely damaged. There were traces of human feces in her nostrils, in her esophagus, and when they opened up her stomach, Josh, Josh is already done with the story.
I'm taking my beanie off for this.
Yeah.
That's how, like, what the fuck am I listening to, dog?
Yeah, this is one of the most craziest shit I've come across.
Nah, brother. Nah, fucking hell. So she not only was just snorting poo, she ate it.
Yeah. And when they did her stomach biopsy, when they opened up her stomach, they found no food at all.
Yeah,
there was
poo.
Only human feces, partially digested human feces. My heart goes out to the girl as well. Like, I mean, the young 28-year-old, your age pretty much, and
literally. You were 28 once?
Exactly.
Fucking, what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, and you're so young, you're so full of life, you know what I mean?
Bro,
and
yeah, you had a kid, bro. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You had a baby.
Yep, exactly.
At 28. Exactly. And, you have your whole career, your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
That's fucked.
Imagine eating poop and dying.
Yeah. And then
there's
the
more.
problem with what happened with Feng Guan, the only people who could actually say or tell authorities what happened to her were her family. But where are they? They had disappeared completely.
Nah, fuck off.
So what happened is, investigation started taking place. They started putting out a lookout for the family and for the dad and for the kids.
Is that what it's called? APB?
APB, I think. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So they put out this lookout for the family. Now, family finally tracked the dad and the rest of the family.
Wait. Who found him?
Police. The police
okay.
found him.
Thank fuck. Okay.
And when they caught the dad and they finally tracked the mother and this daughter and the disabled child, or the son, or the other middle daughter. We're not too sure about who were the part of the family. Okay. When they caught them, Josh, they interrogated the family for hours and hours, but they openly admitted, they never hid anything. The dad openly said what he had to say. The mom openly said what she had to say. And for some reason, they were not possessed anymore. The dad heard, and the family heard about the daughter dying through media, through the police reports.
Okay.
He never realized, or they never realized that she's dead. That's why he went and knocked the neighbor's door to call an ambulance, because he thought that the daughter might survive. But he later realized that the daughter Feng Guan had died through police reports, and hence I think there could be certain reports.
But where did he disappear to when the door was open?
So they just went outside they just left the house, and they just went somewhere. But as soon as they realized, and some reports state that when they realized the daughter was dead, that's when they actually came in public and they wanted to get apprehended. So that's when they actually got caught. Somewhere I read, or some reports that state that they actually went to the 5-Finger Mountain, and they hid there for a little while. But then, because they realized that the daughter had died, they now were actually happy that the daughter had died, because not with bad intention, it's because the demon had left her, and that she had finally found peace. Now they interrogated the family for hours, but they never refused they never refused to cooperate with the authorities. They openly admitted to all the rituals that they were doing, believing that it was divine guidance that they were following, basically. Now all the 5 survivors of the family members were charged with abandoning a person, resulting in death. That was the case put on them. Now in 2006 there was a trial and a public outcry. The defense argued that they had not killed Feng Guan intentionally, because they were a good family. They were a loving family. It was all a part of a ritualistic exorcism and mass delusion. Now psychiatrists also have interviewed the family, given their verdict. The psychiatrists testified that the family suffered from shared psychotic disorder, folie familiale in French. The court concluded that Feng Guan did not resist the ritual, so she was not forced to eat whatever the feces or the poop. She did it on herself, because she herself believed that would be that was a part of the ritual, redeem her. As a result, the whole family was acquitted of intentional murder, sentenced to very light prison sentence or sentence, and they were just sentenced basically for negligence. There are some versions that state that there was no prison time at all. They just walked free. Why the human feces? Now let's go into the aspects of these ritualistic things that happened. So when they were exercising each other, Josh, there were times when people reported that they would throw cold water on each other. Just sit in a circle and they would just blast each other with cold water, saying that they were feeling really hot. At some time, when that didn't work, they started sprinkling rice and salt on each other.
But salt will cause dehydration.
That's
not going to help.
But some rituals believe that ritualistic practices consist of salt. Even in Christianity, you use salt in holy water and stuff like that, because it seems like they say that it has got power to exorcise demons. So when that didn't work, Josh, they started, in some reports they say that they started now making paste out of the salt and the rice and started smothering each other on their faces, on their stomachs, started making these incantation, these symbols on their stomachs with the paste of the rice and the salt. When that didn't work, they started using incense, heavily scented incense in the house. They started burning each other with the incense, thinking that the pain will redeem them of the demon. When that didn't work, the Jade King came up with this. Jade Emperor came up with this particular concept of theory, that if the demons are not going by these ritualistic things, there is a thought here, Josh, that even an evil spirit or a demon, according to the Chinese folklore, the theory is that deities or demonic entities, they are very clean. Not clean spirits, but they're clean. Like they do not, because they're pure spirits, demon or good, they do not like dirt. And so the theory was that if they use human feces in the house or feed each other human feces, they will be redeemed, because the demon will not stay inside the body if it is full of human feces. And that's why they started giving each other human feces. So for 3 months, Josh, they were eating nothing but human feces. Not just her, people in her family. They were drinking urine, but the only person who was because in the end they suspected, and they for sure found that it was the eldest daughter. So they forced her to do the main ritualistic things.
Okay.
And that's how she died.
Yep. But they all did it. And hence, when they caught the dad and the other sisters and the brother, they found the same burn marks on their body as well. This case terrified the investigators. They have never seen such a ritualistic stuff that would happen in medieval times. Yeah.
They did not expect to see it in the 21st century.
No, I wouldn't either.
And the surprising part is, Josh, that when the daughter died, it seemed like the family automatically got exorcised of whatever was possessing them.
Just went back to normal. Yeah.
And they said that in their minds, their exorcism worked. And that's the biggest problem.
That's fucked.
So no matter what happens in the story, and no matter how we narrate the story, no matter what facts we find in the story, the point is that by the end of the day, the family thinks that they did what is right. And they succeeded. Look, there are certain theories that have come up, and quickly before we end the discussion, there's a few theories that I want to talk to you about, Josh, and my sweet listeners, that this particular case has a couple of theories from netizens and from internet sleuths like you and me. Okay, so some skeptics believe that the demonic possession was just a cover, but was an extreme abuse intentionally done on Feng Guan.
Yep.
So they wanted to do that on her.
Yep.
The rituals may be ritualized they've used ritual and violence, but not in ceremonies, like spiritual ceremonies at all.
Ceremonial aspect. Yep.
Now this theory sees that the case not as shared delusion, but systematic brutality.
Right.
Accused by religious justification. Now, if you come up with a theory like this, is there a possibility that they were actually wanting to kill her? But if they use spiritualism in a place like Taiwan, would they get away with it?
Yeah.
The theory also states that there could be something to do with the youngest daughter not liking the oldest daughter. So she came up with this.
Yeah.
Maybe she was jealous.
That's a hell of a concoction to come up with.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest.
So. Exactly, and that's why we get torn apart with these two theories. The evidence, though, is that Feng Guan was repeatedly singled out for humiliation and torture. Not everyone had some kind of torture to them, but Feng Guan had the most bruises and torture done to her. Her death was caused by sustained trauma, starvation, and also ingestion of human feces, which not many others went through. So why her? Did they single her out? But there is another theory that actually believes in spiritual aspects to this. Some in religious or paranormal circles believe that the Wu family truly encountered a demonic or a spiritual force. According to this view, Josh, their descent into madness and Feng Guan's death was a result of a real spiritual battle. Believers point out to the ritualistic patterns, lack of remorse, and also language used by the family as a sign of spiritual interference. It is odd that they suddenly started saying that I'm Jade Emperor and I'm Queen Mother and I'm the third king or whatever, prince or whatever. So when Feng Guan died, the family said that the demon has died, not our sister. That's what they stated. Now, no physical or scientific evidence has ever been found to support this theory at all. But it remains popular in some circles like you and me. I would love to believe that, that she was actually possessed and her death didn't go waste. and she was not abused and killed.
Yeah.
Though no one should die,
Yeah.
but since she's already dead, we hope that that's
That's
was
exactly
the case.
what happened.
And she, her death's not wasted. But anyway, and certain theories said that it was shared psychosis.
Yeah.
Was it induced by something they ate that day, or something some incense that they bought?
Okay, but what's something that can cause such a level of psychosis that it lasts for 3 months?
I know that there are certain cases where there was a gas leak, for example, in a house, and this lady called paranormal investigators because she got this rotten smell in the house, and the paranormal investigators came in, checked everything, and she started getting these weird dreams, and later they found out that there was a gas leak, an LPG gas leak. So sometimes an LPG gas leak in the house can actually cause mass delusion.
No, it can. You're right.
So you don't know what could have caused it. Is this something they ate? Is it mold in the house? Black mold can cause a lot of sicknesses. Is that something? We don't know. And that's one of the biggest mysteries of the Wu family tragedy. And hence we spoke about it. If there was a straight answer to this story, we wouldn't have spoken about this, right?
Well, we would have had a proper conclusion.
Exactly.
Which we never fucking have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's always
because it's all
hearsay.
These weird shit. Yeah, but
hearsay and opinions.
Yeah. But yes, any final thoughts in what you think about the story, Josh?
Nah, man, I'm still split in two. I'm divided.
Yeah,
dog. This is the first time I've never been able to give a proper answer other than I'm fucking divided by this.
Yes,
that is terrifying. That is traumatic. And I really fucking hope we come with a lighter subject next time.
Exactly. But it won't be.
No, definitely won't be.
So for anyone who's stayed with us so far, for next week we're gonna come up with a very similar case that happened in India. So keep your ears tuned. With my final thoughts, look, what happened inside the small, house, this apartment in 2005 was not just a story of superstition, Josh. It was a story of belief without boundaries, of mental illness unspoken, and of love twisted by fear. The Wu family didn't kill out of hatred. They killed out of conviction. A conviction so strong that they so absolutely believed that it would erase the negativity that was in their family. But it actually erased their reality, unfortunately. Now, look, the poor girl who died, Wu Fengguan, she did not just die, but she died in the hands of her own loved ones and not strangers. And if it was not ill intention, then she at least died in the hands of her of her own family. But perhaps that is what makes this case the most terrifying as well, that she died in front of her own family. Now, because look, in the wrong conditions, with enough isolation, enough belief, and just enough fear, any home can become a temple, and any temple can become a tomb.
Yep.
This was the Wu family possession case. In saying that, look, we have come to the end of the Wu family's, obviously the tragedy.
Turmoil.
But if you're interested in topics like this, follow us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. So stay tuned. For next time. Until next time, Josh, what's the time?
It's time to go throw up, dog.
Eat some feces.
Eat some poo and smoke a motherfucking cigarette, because it's time for a smoke break.
Deuces,
everybody.
Deuces.